Losing a spouse is one of the most painful, life-altering experiences a person can go through. It's not just the weight of grief, it's the overwhelming number of choices that suddenly fall on your shoulders. In times like this, it's easy to say yes to things you're not truly ready for. Decisions made from pain, from loneliness, or pressure from others. But some of these decisions can lead to deep regret, financial stress, or emotional setbacks that make healing even harder. The truth is, while grief is personal, there are certain things you should always think twice about before saying yes to. In this video, we'll explore 5 things you should say no to after losing a spouse, choices that often feel right in the moment, but quietly unravel later. Stay with me until the end, because these insights aren't just about avoiding mistakes. They're about helping you move forward with clarity, strength, and the support you truly deserve. Now, let's begin. Number 1, making big financial decisions too soon. One of the most common mistakes people make after losing a spouse is rushing into major financial choices. It's understandable. Suddenly, you're faced with bank accounts, insurance policies, and the question of whether to sell the home or keep it. In the fog of grief, making quick decisions can feel like regaining control. But in reality, grief clouds judgment. What seems smart today may feel like a painful misstep just months later. Take the case of Margaret, a 74-year-old widow who was told to downsize her home immediately. Everyone meant well. Less space, lower bills, a fresh start. So she sold the house she had lived in for 40 years. She moved into a smaller place in a new town. But once the shock wore off, the truth hit her. She missed her neighbors, her familiar surroundings, and the comfort of the home she had shared with her husband. She hadn't given herself time. She had made a permanent decision from a temporary emotional place. It's not just about real estate. Widowed individuals are often targeted by scammers, pressured by salespeople, or rushed by well-meaning friends. If someone tells you to invest, withdraw, or sign something quickly, pause, take a breath, step back. Even giving away money to children, grandchildren, or charities might feel comforting in the moment, but if done too soon, it can create hardship for you later. Experts often recommend the 1-year rule, waiting at least 12 months before making irreversible financial decisions. That space gives you time to think clearly and protects you from choices that can't be undone. Losing a spouse is already one of life's hardest transitions. The last thing you need is regret that could have been avoided. Slow down, seek guidance from someone you trust, and remember, the wisest decisions are made with clarity, not in grief. Number 2, isolating yourself from friends and family. After losing a spouse, it's normal to want space. Grief is heavy, and sometimes being alone feels like the only way to breathe. But there's a difference between solitude and isolation, and too much isolation can quietly turn into a trap. Many widowed people begin pulling away from phone calls, declining invitations, skipping gatherings, telling themselves, "I'm just not ready." But time alone can start to feel endless. Days blur, energy fades, and without realizing it, the silence becomes overwhelming. Take Walter, a 78-year-old man who lost his wife of 52 years. At first, he ignored phone calls. He avoided family events. He barely left the house. He believed nobody could understand his grief. And in truth, he didn't want to be around anyone. Months passed, and instead of healing, he felt worse. His appetite changed. His sleep suffered. The world felt smaller and colder. It wasn't until a neighbor invited him over for coffee that something shifted. That one conversation turned into a weekly ritual. Eventually, he found himself laughing again. Not because the pain was gone, but because he was no longer carrying it alone. Staying connected doesn't mean you need to be the life of the party. Sometimes, just sitting beside someone in silence is enough. Answer a phone call, go for a short walk with a friend, or join a support group where others understand exactly what you're going through. Letting people in, even just a little, can offer relief when words fail. Don't push away the people who care most. They may not have perfect words, but their presence can be the lifeline you didn't know you needed. And if being around people feels too hard, just start with one person, one visit, one voice. Grief can feel like a solitary journey, but you don't have to walk it alone. Number 3, ignoring your own health and well-being. After losing a spouse, it's easy to let your own needs fall to the side. The grief is heavy, the days feel long, and sometimes even eating a meal or getting out of bed feels like too much. But neglecting your health, even unintentionally, can make the road ahead much harder. Grief doesn't just affect your emotions. It takes a toll on your body. Studies show that widowed individuals face higher risks of heart issues, weakened immunity, and even memory problems. Your body carries your sorrow, and it needs support to heal. Take James, an 81-year-old man who stopped cooking after his wife passed. He said he wasn't hungry, and when he did eat, it was usually something quick, processed, or out of a box. Months later, he felt weaker, tired all the time, and unable to sleep. It wasn't until his daughter encouraged him to make small changes, a few fresh meals, more water, light movement, that he began to feel like himself again. Caring for yourself isn't selfish, it's survival. Your spouse would have wanted you to stay well, to live with strength, not just sorrow. Start small. Eat simple, nourishing foods. Take a short walk in the sunlight. Go to your medical checkups, and if the grief feels too heavy, talk to someone. A counselor, a friend, a support group. You're not weak for asking for help. You're wise for knowing you need it. Because even in the midst of heartbreak, your life still matters, and your health deserves care. Number 4, rushing into a new relationship. After a spouse passes, the silence can be deafening. The house feels empty, the days stretch on, and the nights feel lonelier than ever. So it's only natural to crave connection, someone to talk to sit with, to feel close to again. But one of the most common mistakes is jumping too quickly into something new, not out of love, but out of loneliness. Grief is a powerful force. It makes us reach for what feels safe or comforting. But if you haven't fully healed, a new relationship can bring confusion, regret, and even more pain. Barbara, a 72-year-old widow, met someone just a few months after her husband died. She felt excited at first. The company was a relief. The distraction felt good. But soon, she realized she wasn't ready. The relationship moved fast. She felt overwhelmed, and worse, she felt guilty, as if she were betraying her late husband. Eventually, she stepped away. Not because the person was unkind, but because she needed more time to find her footing again. Love isn't wrong. Companionship isn't wrong. But timing is everything. A relationship should come from healing, not from desperation. And be mindful, grief can also make you vulnerable to those with bad intentions. Scammers, manipulators, even overly eager acquaintances. They often look for someone grieving to target. So take your time, trust your instincts, and if something feels off, don't ignore it. Real love will wait. And when the time is right, you'll know. Not because you're escaping pain, but because you've made peace with the past and are truly ready for something new. Number 5, holding on to every possession without letting go. When a spouse passes away, even their smallest belongings can feel sacred. A pair of shoes by the door, a favorite coffee mug, a sweater that still carries their scent. Letting go of these things can feel like letting go of them, like saying goodbye all over again. So many widows and widowers leave everything untouched. Closets stay full, drawers remain unopened, rooms feel frozen in time. But while it's natural to keep what feels meaningful, holding on to everything can make the grief heavier. Harold, a 76-year-old man, kept his late wife's shoes by the door for over a year. He couldn't bear to move them, but each day he passed them with pain, a reminder that she was gone. Eventually, he chose a few things to keep close: a locket, a letter, a small photo framed by the bed, and he began letting go of the rest. Not to forget, not to move on, but to make space for peace. You don't have to throw everything away, but consider what brings comfort and what holds you back. Sometimes transforming a possession can be healing. Turn an old shirt into a quilt, pass down a treasured book to a grandchild, create a small memory box that celebrates their life. Letting go doesn't mean letting go of love. It means making room to keep living without being trapped in the past. And most importantly, do it on your own timeline. No one should pressure you. This is your journey. But when you feel ready, start small and know that you're not losing them. You're honoring them in a new way. Losing a spouse changes everything. The way you live, the way you think, even the way you see the future. It's a grief that runs deep and touches every part of your being. But in the midst of this pain, there are choices, and every choice you make can either help your healing or silently prolong your suffering. That's why saying no to these 5 things is so important. Rushing financial decisions, isolating yourself from others, neglecting your health, entering a new relationship too soon, and holding on to every possession without creating room to heal. None of this is easy, but these gentle boundaries can protect your heart, your peace, and your future. Remember, moving forward doesn't mean forgetting. Healing doesn't mean you've stopped loving. It simply means you're honoring their memory in a way that allows you to keep living with strength, with purpose, and yes, even with joy again. So now I'd love to hear from you. Which of these insights resonated with you the most? Have you experienced any of them in your own journey? Please leave a comment below and share one thing you've learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your stories and reflections mean more than you know. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need it. Your support helps us continue creating content to inform, uplift, and inspire. Thank you for being here, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.